everyone, I'm getting to film another video today because Vincent is still napping. So he's being very gentle and kind to us and allowing me to get some videos done today. There's Talula. So I want to review the Gaia Oracle by Toni, Carmine, Salerno. We've been talking about this on my Facebook page for quite a while, and I keep saying that I'm meaning to get a review done, and it just hasn't happened. But thankfully today it does get to happen. Hold on, I just need to go grab Talula. Here's Talula. Say hi. Everybody hasn't seen you in a while. She's such a good girl, except when she's being naughty. Anyhow, so this is the review of the Gaia Oracle deck that we've all been talking about. This is the guidebook. So this is a typical Blue Angel deck. Salerno is the creator of the Blue Angel publishing company, and so from his decks you really get a feel for the publishing company itself and the decks that come out of it. They have a similar feeling, and I like that feeling. So the Gaia Oracle deck doesn't disappoint as far as that goes. It's quite a... Oh, and it is his artwork as well. I'm sorry if you're not familiar with that. You get 82 pages of information, and a little bit at the beginning that tells you how to use the deck, typical. And then for the cards themselves, there's a teeny tiny representation of the deck in black and white. Then keywords, then a paragraph that talks about the deck, and then the affirmations. So honestly, with these decks like this, with these guidebooks like this that have the affirmations in the book, I appreciate that. I appreciate the reading, but I read this and then I kind of don't really need to go back to that often, because I just really use my intuition with oracle cards. And I've talked about that before. It's why I like oracle cards. I like the fact that each deck is created using its own symbolism, etc., but that you really completely use your intuition when you're using the deck yourself. There's no, there are recommendations that come along with the guidebook, but it's really about how you work with the deck itself. So I like this deck for daily draws, and I like this deck for when I have a question that I just want to draw one card for the answer to, and I don't want to get into a spread. I find this to be really, really helpful when it comes to that. The cards themselves are quite large, and the back has a Sacred Heart image, and this is what really gets me. I keep this deck out where I can see it just for this image. In fact, I may one day get a tattoo of this image. It's very comforting to me. I just love it, and I love how we've got the light and the dark, and then this beautiful center with the Sacred Heart. It's just really appealing to me, and I find it very soothing. So this is a Scarabeo Tarot card, and this is the size of the Gaia Oracle. These are large cards. The cardstock is quality, in my opinion. I like the Blue Angel Gallery quality, and I like oracle cards to be this size. It's really about the artwork with oracle decks, and I love when we can actually really get into the images. And yes, we do have a border, but it's not too irritating, and it's really about the images. So Salerno, in his artwork, he draws completely by intuition and what he receives from spirit, if you will. His hits from spirit as far as what he should be creating. So the perspective, the artwork itself varies greatly in each card, and sometimes we have a lot of colors and symbolism kind of hidden in the background of the image, and sometimes we don't. I don't find that to detract from my use of the deck. In fact, there's only 3 cards that I don't really love, and it's not even that I don't like them. It's just they're not my favorite images in his artwork portfolio, if you will. It has nothing to do with the effectiveness of the images as part of the oracle deck. And those 3 would be Jewel Within a Teardrop, card number 10. So there's a card number at the top. There's the name of the card, and then there's keywords: appreciation, spiritual, and emotional reconnection. So really, like I said, you don't need to continually go back to the guidebook unless it's something that you find beneficial. A hidden gift: sadness, an ending, and a new beginning. I just don't like this painting. It has nothing to do with whether it depicts what the keywords are telling me it should. And then Moonlight Goddess, repressed emotion, healing, and reflection. And this is only because I am really aligned with Moon Goddess energy. I have been throughout my life. And I just have a very clear image of moon goddesses and what they represent as archetypes in my mind. And so you really have a lot to live up to when you name a card Moonlight Goddess with me. So odds are I'm not going to be, it's not going to be the right artwork for me when I think of a Moonlight Goddess. This is a beautiful image, but it's just not what I think of. It's more crone energy for me when I think of Moonlight Goddesses for the most part. And we're talking about repressed emotions, healing, and reflection. I'm more thinking about crone energy than I am Persephone, I guess. Than I am Persephone energy, which this image makes me think of Persephone in her Greek pantheon mythology, not in her strong mythology, which is before that, but was bastardized by the patriarchy, which we won't get into. So now I want to talk about the cards that I loved, so I'm going to stop going off on that, which is quite a few. I love the Temptress. I just think it's a great image. And this card is like, when this card shows up, it's like right on when I do it for a daily draw. That card, I'm always like, oh dear. Evolution. I think that these, just the color, and it's just beautiful. I just really, really love this image. And I'm very calmed by his artwork, and it really helps me to relax when I feel very stressed. So this is a deck that I pull out when I'm going through a lot and I'm really, my anxiety levels are rising, and I'm turning back to some belief patterns, some habits that I go back to when I'm having a difficult time that are not very healthy. This deck is really great for that in my experience. So if you're currently going through a shift and a transformation and a transition, and you're finding yourself reverting back to old patterns to keep yourself feeling safe, this is a deck that will help you to relax enough to realize that you're stepping back into an old pattern that you don't want to. So this is a good deck for anxiety. Anytime there's stress, depression, things like that, I would say this is a deck to purchase or to pull out, especially around those times. The images are very calming. Again, like I said, they're great to start your meditation with because they will help you to get into that meditative space very quickly. So I definitely think that they're great for that. Here's another similar image, reflection. So again, you can see we have symbols and shapes being repeated, but with different colors. Some of these, like these two cards that I just showed you, remind me of Van Gogh in a much calmer space. Some of his skylines and his use of color. And so I like that. I really like that about Salerno's work. Here's the Goddess of Creation. I just think that's beautiful. That is an image that I would conjure up in my mind. Here's Night Wind. I'm thinking of the Goddess of Creation, I mean, as opposed to the Moonlight Goddess, Night Wind. Oh, I love this one. It might be my favorite card in the deck. Ocean of Eternal Love. I just love it. I mean, there's the moon, there's this lake energy, but there's also the feminine sexual organ feeling I get from it as well in that space, and the fertility of the sperm and the egg as well. I mean, he does a lot of symbolism with very little work, which I appreciate. The Message, which is the image on the cover of the box. Liberation. Again, we see the image on the cover of the box again, but slightly different. And this is talking about breaking free from a negative pattern. The Zen Garden. This is one of the images that I saw when I went to buy it, and one of the reasons why I purchased the deck. Isn't that gorgeous? Sacred Heart again. So there's a card with just that image on it, which I love this image. I could just stare at that for hours. Harmony. I love that her arms are trees. Love it. Eternal Love. This is like so pretty. So pretty. I really, really like that one. There's the double helix. Feeling. It calls that to mind. There's the sun. Rainbow. I don't know, just he really pulls up almost a childlike feeling of symbolism in that card that I appreciate. Moonlight. This is gorgeous. Another one of my favorites. Sacred Earth Mother. This is so pretty, and it reminds me of one of my friends. Very much so. Reminds me of her. Perception. Just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh, I like this one. Hidden Path, the marriage of spirit and matter. Yes. I will have the Eye of Horus tattooed on my body before I die. I like this one too. Winter's End. Isn't that beautiful? It's not really picking up the depth of color, but it's gorgeous. So again, this is not a deck that I use all the time, but it is one that I in all likelihood won't be gifting. As far as gifting this deck, I've given this deck to actually quite a few friends as gifts, but I kept my original deck because this is a deck that I really work with just single card draws when I'm at a very low point in my experience and I need to be calmed and relaxed, and I need to come back to an even vibration energetically, and not, you know, I just need to have that grounding effect, and this deck is really great with that. And of course it's the Gaia Oracle, so it's the Mother Earth deck, you know, it's meant to ground us and bring us back to that even space where we're in our physical body, and we know that we're in our physical body and we're comfortable with being in our physical body. So if you're struggling with any issues right now, this is a great deck for you if you're considering purchasing it. If you're not right now, but you love the artwork, or you understand that there are, when you do have that dip of energy in your life and that valley through your life experience, this deck is a great friend to you at that time. And the energies associated with it are very loving, very kind. The box itself is sturdy and quite attractive, so it is one that you could store the deck in, and it will last. You know, it's not one of those cheapo boxes that you just throw out because it doesn't last. You know, it's already damaged when it arrives at your doorstep or in the store when you purchase it. This is definitely a deck that I think is worth the purchase. And I think even if you don't use it all the time, there are times when you will find it extremely beneficial to have it in your arsenal of decks to work with. And like I said, I do leave this deck out on my downstairs altar in my kitchen because this image is very comforting to me of the Sacred Heart. So I just want to leave you with that image and say to you that I highly encourage you to purchase this deck. And I think it's definitely worth the investment, and the cards will last you a long time, if you find you don't use them daily, you'll definitely use them through difficult times in your life. So I hope that this tarot review with Talula, technically Oracle deck review with Talula, has been helpful. Many blessings to you, much love, and see you in the next video.